Well, welcome back to the channel, everybody. As you know, we had this running and it runs excellent, but, well, I did rebuild the carburetor since we ran it last, so I say it runs good, we'll find out. But this bushing right here is loose. I've got this unbolted now, so you can't wrench on it, but you can slip this in here. This vulcanization is let go, and it's not supposed to allow that to move, so I'm a little suspicious of it. I don't dare to run it. So we're going to take this off and we're going to convert it to the later style, which is what John Deere recommended, because they knew they had problems with these. So the only thing we got left to do, we'll see if we can save our gasket. Yeah, of course it would go on the ground. It's all right. We'll clean her up. Yeah. I don't put any glue on that because, well, you always have to take it off for one reason or another. But right here, there is a, pretty sure it's a 3/4 inch line. Yep. And being underneath, there we go. Oh, I didn't quite get it enough. There we go. If it isn't bent, and it's where it belongs, it'll come right off easy. Now we just got to pick it up. Okay, I'm just starting to pull this apart. Just a couple of threaded rods, bearing splitter on this end. See what happens while I wrench on the other end. Look at that. There's the split right there. Guess we got to go just a little more. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Beautiful. Comes right off. Well, we got this fan shaft apart. I haven't been doing a lot of filming, but I can explain here what's going on. This is the hub out of that rubber mounted fan. I took it apart, just 4 rivets. So my big problem with this is right there is as far as those splines will travel. You can see where they picked up the cutter right there. And when you turn it around, of course, there's no splines from here on out, which is good because you got to reach down in there. So I'm going to end up with a compressive spring stack up to here. So I got to press it in about 5/16. And that will get me on this, well, this stack here is the same as in here. This is a John Deere B one. And I know it is because it's got the yellow from the other tractor. So this one here, if I compress it to there, will have about 45 pounds, providing the springs are the same, which I'm sure they're close. And this stack here, if you go behind the other stuff and compress it 1/4 inch, it's got about 45 pounds on it. So it should balance things out right around there. So I got to get this cut off here. That'll leave me about a 1/2 inch of splines that can move in. And then I got to make me a flange to weld on here to carry this bigger spring, because this has got to have something for it to set on, about there. And anyway, this whole stack, when it's done, I get a 1/4 inch compression there. I get a 1/4 inch here. So that gives me about a 1/2 inch. And the clutch stack should be about like so. So I think it's going to work. I'm working up to it real slow. I've cut this end off twice, and I haven't got it too short yet, so that's good. So I'm going to go cut this right at this back line. That'll leave me a 1/2 inch of splines, and I'll just have to work from there to make sure stuff will work. Okay, we got this thing, the stack assembly on. This is going to go on, well, I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think that's going to be almost flush with that outer end. So this will come ahead a little bit. That means, but we don't have the fan in there. So the back's going to be about where it is. It's going to be right back there. Now we got about 5/16 of an inch. We can compress that way. That'll give us the space in the middle that we need. So what we need to do now is put a washer on there and weld it on right about out here so that we got about 3/8 of an inch of travel. And then hopefully things will balance out. That's my theory anyway. So this is what I come up with. This here is the original piece that was the hub of the rubber mounted or vulcanized hub. That's going to go in like so. And we're going to put this stack together. It's going to work fine. This here is all in good, yeah. So that is a success. It is possible to do it without that hub and spending a bunch of money. So anyway, I'm going to take it apart and we'll weld that up. Well, I got it welded. Not very pretty, but I had to go put it in the lathe after to make sure that that spring would go on because I had a little bit of slag. But yeah, she's going to work. I'm just going to reassemble it. I'll put a little bit of grease on the back here and call it good. Okay, I just got done reassembling, and this is where it wants to stay. Seems, because I got it greased up this time, and it actually will move back and forth. You can drive it back with a screwdriver, and it kind of, if I just tap on the back of this collar, that's where it settles out to, which is perfect. I've got the bearing inside compressed about 1/4 of an inch. I got gap, and I tried holding it and turning the fan on the clutch, and I can't actually turn it with my hands. So seems to have plenty of friction. So I'm going to assemble, and I'll bring you back when I get it assembled. I use this anaerobic gasket maker. Pretty good stuff. I think anybody sells it, maybe Permatex. So I like it. When you're running close clearance like this and you don't want a gasket, good enough. I'll tighten them up when I get it all bolted on the machine. I did do it right, got the flat down. So anyway, see if we can get her on. Well, I was just using my ratchet to put that in. Of course, I went to take the ratchet away and I hit there. You know where the socket went. Somewheres. There it is. Of course, it went all the way to the front between the cylinders. But we got it all together. Even got all the oil lines hooked up. And I got done. And I was not happy. I mean, I can move that now pretty good. But I've also put a 1/4 inch shim in there. A couple of pieces of key stock. So I've got to take that apart. And this here, when I put those key stocks in, it goes back to the end of the splines. Can't go any further, and I still got a 1/16 inch. So that's going to be okay. I'm going to put me a washer on there. Got to take this all apart again. I'm not going to bore you with it. But the next time I bring you back, we'll be ready to start this thing. Well, I took it all off, put it back on. I had another spring that was a little stiffer. And it had another about 60 pounds of compression in it. I mean, I can almost, you know, if I want to, it'll actually turn the engine over, which is good. It takes probably 30, 40 pounds there to pull that. So pretty happy with that. So anyway, let's go with that right there is where I just sat. The governor is horizontal on the other side. We will run it by about that much. Let's go see if we can put the mag on. I don't even know what I did with the mag. Oh, there it is back here. Put all the bolts right with it. For once in my life. Now, you notice I wrote it ahead so that it's like that. This thing naturally wants to set like that because of the way the magnets are. So now, whoop, I need my gasket. Now let's see if we can get this thing on there. Sometimes it is, sometimes it ain't. Maybe just a little bit more, maybe. There we go. So I'm going to shut you off, put a bolt in this, I'll be back. Okay, the correct way to time these, we've got it on loose. You can move it. Spark plug wires need to be in because it's not good to make a spark in there with no place for it to go. Most people say it doesn't hurt them, but I'm a firm believer you should give it a place to go. So now that we've got that mag on, we're going to back this back far enough so that we reset the impulse. Now, we're going to put that dot right in line, right about there. A lot of people will tell you go a little beyond and all this. John Deere's are designed to fire at that mark. Case closed. There's no reason to have it late unless you want them to run real slow or something and be numb. But what we're going to do, we're going to set this right here. And we're going to just start moving that ever so gently till that fires. Right there. Oh, wrong one. Yeah, and you don't need to kill a mag bolt either. Just enough to hold it. It doesn't take a whole lot. I've seen a lot of mag housings broke there that people huss on them too much. That's all she needs. Now we'll just go verify. And if it has to be moved at all, like if you're not satisfied down here, just put a mark with a jackknife on top of it and loosen it up and just move it. We're talking a 30-second to a time. Not much. But I don't know if I got you at the right height or not here. You've got to be pretty close. That's about where you want to go. Well, that right there is level, so I don't know how you're orientated. I can't get my head in between the tire. But let's back it up. reset the impulse. Let's see here where it clicks. That's dead on. I like it. That's all there is to it. There's no big mysteries. You know, if the mag is got the, well, there's how many degrees of wind up you want to have. And that degree of wind up before your impulse goes basically sets your time in advance. So if they don't have the mag right for the tractor, you could end up with that not being the right spot. But if the mag is right, that's how you time a John Deere. No mystery. It's very simple. And yeah, we're all done here tonight. I've got that oil line tightened up under here. All the bolts are tight. Everything that I've taken apart in there is good. And it was funny because what I thought I was going to have for compression, I don't know where that other big spring is. Oh, right here. This is the one that I had on it. And I had it in a spring checker there. And according to what I needed, I was about 50, 60 pounds too strong on it. So I went over and put it in a vise and cramped it up about 3/8 of an inch and took the torch to both sides like that and took some of the tension out of it. That's what kicked me in the butt. Because, like I said, this is kind of a guess game where stuff is... I ran out of splines. That's what's holding it from not going back anymore, which is perfect. Because then I can load this up even heavier with a heavier spring. There isn't any equilibrium that we got to, you know, get into. And real happy with it. So, I got lucky there. That's just a half-ass gump, but it's going to work. So... that's going to be it for this video. It's kind of a long, drawn-out thing. I got kind of aggravated with this thing. I actually went upstairs for a couple of hours. I told Carol I just needed a break from it. Then I came down and finished it. So the next problem I got to fix now is the fuel tank. Anyway, we'll tackle that tomorrow. And yeah, keep safe, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.